I agree. A lot of women, especially going perimenopause, menopause, their hot flashes are horrible. They're having severe weight gain issues, or they're having gas bloating. They're not being able to maintain their muscle. Their bones are diminishing. Their strength is diminishing. They're told they have osteoporosis. And here they've been lathering up in phthalates, which are chemical estrogens, right? They compete with your natural estrogen. And when you go into perimenopause, you're making less as a normal aspect of women's losing fertility, right? We don't stay fertile forever. But as you make less of your own, if you're inundating your system with these chemical estrogens, you're now creating the potential possibility of those chemicals interacting with estrogen receptors and creating increased risk for all sorts of problems, including the symptoms of menopause, but also, there's evidence of excessive estrogens creating changes in mood and creating disruption in the balance of the rest of your hormones, increased risks for certain types of cancers. So, it makes sense to me, and women are really the most vulnerable because, how old were you when you first started putting, all these types of things on your face as a regular course? 12, 13? What is the age now that, so you take a woman from that age all the way up into, 55, 60, menopause time frame, and how many chemicals are we actually bathing our face in multiple times a day? So I agree with you. You've got to reduce the burden. I think we're seeing that trend now, especially in the U.S. after the election. We were all really happy to see Robert Kennedy Jr. Being selected because I believe it's our next best hope and chance to see some meaningful changes in regulation of what absolutely should be being regulated and not, like you said earlier, the natural healthcare industry doesn't hurt people. It doesn't hurt you to use castor oil. And God forbid if you used it and your joints ached less. Now, we can't make that claim, by the way, but good for you. It's not going to hurt you. But these other creams and lotions and concoctions can. And I think where we need to really have good regulation and good awareness is around the chemical slurry versus just, God's given natural ingredients that we could all endeavor to do better with. So I love that you're on this mission, because to me, women need it, especially today, because beauty is important. And far be it from me, I'm not a woman. I can't put myself in a woman's shoes. I don't know how women feel. I'm not going to make that claim. However, I do have a wife, and I pay a lot of attention to what she does, and I pay a lot of attention to her frustrations. And at the end of the day, women need to be less exposed. They're more vulnerable, and the way around it, this sounds like a good mix of one aspect of what they can do to empower themselves to just remove some of that toxic slurry.
Yeah. And, I love that you say that, because it's so true. Like, and in fact, I started using makeup a lot earlier. And the reason why is because I was in dancing and in pageants. So I was using makeup from probably like 6 to 7, right? And you can imagine and there's a lot of girls that dance, a lot of girls involved in pageants, a lot of girls doing all these things. And now with social media, it's really scary because our youth is being exposed. Like Sephora is one of the biggest trends on TikTok and on Instagram. And a lot of the products are toxic. Like there's a lot of toxic products, and a lot are doing something known as greenwashing, which happens in the natural health industry, which is, they're claiming it's clean beauty. Well, I walked into a Sephora. I went to the area where it was a clean beauty. I saw a clay product and I was like, great, it's clay. I love clay just on its own. I mix it with castor oil. I do like a clay face mask. Easy peasy. Or sometimes I mix it with egg, castor oil, and clay, and I make a face mask. And so I'm like, great, I was traveling, I'll get a little bit of clay and I'll go from there. But again, I take the package, I look at the ingredients, and it's all like, natural, organic clay. But then there's chemical after fragrance, after phthalate, after paraben in clay. Why? Like it to me, it absolutely doesn't make sense. And women, especially as we start to age, then we start to look ourselves differently. And women, women have typically been identified as, needing to maintain their beauty throughout their entire life. And this goes back historically. Like if you look at like Queen Victorian and you look back in the Victorian era, like they were using things like in makeup that were like things like lead, like to preserve like the skin, right? Like just absolutely crazy. Like talk about toxins back then. At least we're a little bit better now, but not much. Like I'm telling you, not very much because there's nothing rather than people's dollars changing the communication that's happening with companies. And that's why I'm encouraging people to boycott and start to do a swap. Uh, by no means think you have to go in and like raid your bathroom cabinet and get rid of everything. Like you can do that, but that's kind of unsustainable for a lot of people. I highly typically recommend just to do swaps. So like my little nighttime routine, start with something like that. Start washing your face with castor oil. Okay, do you like it? And by the way, take a picture before, after, and when you wake up in the morning, and you'll see the difference in your skin. It's pretty spectacular actually, and just the sensation of how your skin feels with the castor oil is absolutely beautiful. But start doing little baby swaps, because when you start doing little baby swaps, like I've been doing these swaps now for a while, and actually now this weekend I'm doing a big cleanup in my bathroom, and I'm literally like I have my list of not gonna use ingredients, and I'm gonna go through every product, and I'm literally gonna just dispose of it because I'm now ready after having made multiple swaps. I just can't actually, like I look at things and I'm like, I can't put that on. I know too much now. And I guess for me, I just want women to know and understand, because you know it's not just the cosmetics that are affecting them, right? It's also their clothing. Like it's not, and the pots and pans we use, and the cleaning agents we use, and the laundry detergent that we use. It's everything. So the places where we have the most power are by far in our cosmetics. Secondly, in our clothing, which most people don't want to look at, but I started down that road about 2 years ago, and now my closet is about 80% natural materials, only 20% couple of things that I would wear very infrequently. Again, because I know that most clothing is made of plastic, and I'm now reading labels not only on food, I read labels on beauty care products, some of them which are very, very small for my eyes to even see, and I have very good eyesight. And then I read labels on clothing too now. So basically, I've become an awesome label reader, and I'm looking for very specific ingredients, and I'm going to buy more of those because that's the way that I'm going to encourage the marketplace to change for me. Because we can literally boycott with our dollars. Like we can vote and change things. Well, we can vote with our dollars. So it's up to us to start to boycott and really start looking at the ingredients, and not just be passive and believe what companies say. Ask for proof. Like we get questioned all the time. Can we see your third party testing with Queen of the Thrones? Yeah, absolutely, no problem. I'll show you for sure. Right? Because it's that there's got to be transparency there. There has to be, for the consumer, trust and understanding that the companies that they're choosing to work with are doing good for them and not just good for the bottom line. And I think that for me right now, in the society of like consumerism, which is like at an all-time high, you know, is to really understand, like, let's start shifting over to quality. And quality is in simple ingredients. Castor oil, quality. Wool, cotton clothing, that's quality. It's not polyester or rayon or modal or all Tencel, all the fun names they have to describe, trademark, fabric that is basically made out of plastic. Like let's go for quality, not quantity. We'll all save money at the end. Initially, certain things may be a bit more expensive. Definitely like looking for like all organic clothing, or, even just all natural fiber material clothing is challenging to do, but it's worth it, right? Because at the end of the day, I could either be spending that money on chemical face wash, toner, eye makeup remover, nighttime serum, brow lash, which all, for some women, they're spending $600 to $1,000 a month on those products. I'd rather invest that in single ingredient, high quality, make some of my own things, and same thing with my clothing as well too. And a note to the consumer is be very careful on Amazon as well too, right? Because in Amazon, there's also little to no regulations of what gets listed on Amazon. So as an example, let me just show you with my oil. So this is my oil bottle, organic golden castor oil, as you can see. And this is a copycat, organic Gluten castor oil that,
Wow.
look at it, it's like they even have like kind of like a silhouette of the crown. Obviously the quality is not as good as on the label, but they're literally trying to confuse the consumer to buy this, and this isn't even castor oil. I went and tested 13 products off of Amazon in castor oil, and the majority of them were not even castor oil. They were super low quality. Many were rancid. Like, it's just you might not be getting what you paid for. Yes, you're paying for convenience on Amazon, the ability to return on Amazon, but if you buy straight from the vendor, I'll honor any of my products. I'm pretty confident most vendors would honor their products if there's a problem with it, and they would definitely do a return, you know. So it's buyer beware. Be buying your cosmetics, your natural supplements, and even some food things. I had on Amazon, don't buy them direct from the consumer. Like, I had an experience with food. I bought these sprouted nuts, a really, really great brand. It's called Healthy Crunch. And I can only get them when I'm in the States. So the last time I was there, I purchased about 24 of them online from Amazon. And I learned my lesson again. I learned my lesson again because I received all of those nuts, and they're high quality nuts that are sprouted. And their expiry date was 6 to 8 months, but they were all rancid. And it
Hmm.
was likely because of where the products were stored at Amazon, right?
I mean, we pay for the convenience, but not necessarily
The
the
quality.
quality. And yeah, it's a one-click world, one-click buy.
It's crazy.
I don't put any of my stuff on Amazon for that. That's for one of those reasons. I don't want. I want to be in control of the warehousing. I want to be in control of the distribution, because I want people to, when they receive it, I want to be able to maintain the supply chain of everything. So if something's wrong, we can backtrack it, but we can also honor our product that way. Because I don't know, it's like, are they gonna take my probiotics and put it in an 80-degree warehouse, where it starts to deteriorate? Who knows? I can't control that part.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can control it, right? So if you're unable to get the control at Amazon, fortunately with us, like, we do distribute on Amazon as well too. And the main reason I chose to do that was because I was just getting tired of people getting access to really not good oil. So I decided, I'm going to put it on there. And thankfully for castor oil, it has a higher ability to tolerate heat. So even if it does get into super strong warehouses that are very heated, castor oil has like 230-degree Fahrenheit resistance point. So castor oil is like, if it has been oxidized, it's likely because at the source or over the supply chain, it isn't a good quality oil. It was like a lower grade quality oil, which we found a lot. And when we did the testing of the different 13 brands, which is super interesting. Unfortunately, I'm not going to obviously name any brands because I don't want to get into anything legal there, but it was just eye-awakening. And for me, what I realized too, because castor oil is so trending, so what happened with castor oil is that castor oil started to trend big, and then boom, like, these kind of copycats start popping out of everywhere. Like, they're all over the place. Some even taking our castor oil packs and mimicking them like almost exactly, except the quality of the material isn't the same quality as the Queen of the Thrones, right? They're using like a cheaper bamboo. Bamboo, as a side note, even though many of us think that it is actually healthy material, bamboo actually is one of the more toxic materials. It might be natural sourced, but because bamboo, the cellulose fiber is so strong as steel and construction, it requires a lot of caustic chemicals actually to break down the cellulose fiber, turn it into fibers for materials. And then because it's eco-friendly, to add insult to injury, eco-friendly products typically go through less water and washing, right? And that's how they make it more eco-friendly. because they use less water. And so in that case, what ends up happening is you tend to have residue on the bamboo material. And then most bamboos are blended with the rayon fiber. And then they claim they're softer than cotton. And they achieve that because they're blended with rayon, right? So
Mm.
that's kind of the way that it goes. It's absolutely wild, like our world, right? I'm happy to make America healthy again.
Yeah, amen to that.